Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Mage FX, and in today's video I'm gonna be teaching you guys what the fair value gap is, how you can identify your fair value gap, and I'll be telling you guys 3 points to understand about fair value gaps in this video. Right now, if you're new to this channel, kindly hit on the subscription button, right guys, and click on the notification bell so as to be the first to receive the notification whenever I release a new video, guys. So let's dive into this video, guys. Now I want you to understand what a fair value gap actually means, guys. Now, what is a fair value gap? That is one thing you should first of all understand. Right now, a fair value gap refers to a price imbalance or inefficiency in the market where price has moved too quickly, leaving an area in the market where price has not traded. Right now, you can see, if you look at your chart right here, you can see that price just fluctuating, pushing up, pushing down, creating bodies, creating wicks and all of that till the closure of the candlestick. Right now, I want you to know that this gap occurs after a significant news or event that cause rapid price changes. Now, most times when we find this, these fair value gaps is often when there is a news event, right? It's often when there is a news event that price will rapidly move towards the upside or towards the downside, right? Just as the NFP news, the CPI, and other news, all right, like the crude oil and all of that. Right, so guys, I'll leave a link in the description to a video explaining NFP, right, what to do before the NFP release news. Right now, I want you guys to know that, like I said, that this gap, right, occurs after a news event that cause rapid change in the market. Now, this idea of the fair value gap is linked to fill these gaps over time. Right, this idea comes from the idea that market is likely to fill these gaps over time because it is a huge price difference. Right, it is a huge price difference. Now, what are the three things I want you to understand about fair value gap? Now, once fair value gaps comes into your mind, or when you think about fair value gap, one of the things you should first of all understand, or first of all note, is that the fair value gap causes an imbalance in the market. Fair value gap causes an imbalance in the market. Now, fair value gap typically occurs when there is a sharp move in price, like, right, leaving an area on the chart where there is little or no trading activity, creating a gap between three candles. Right now, if you look at most of the candles right here, they overlap each other. Right, and at some point they create huge price movement. Right, at some point they create huge price movement. Now, there are cases that you would find two fair value gaps, right? Two situations whereby you find two fair value gaps, right, in the market. I'll show you guys in a bit. If you haven't clicked on the subscription button, guys, please, guys, I beg you to click on the notification bell, click on the subscription button and the notification bell. It's your guy Image FX, guys, so please kindly do that for me. Right, so now, secondly, the next thing you should look out for is that market is going to retrace to this level over time. Right, firstly, I said it's an imbalance in the market. Now, secondly, market retracement. Market is definitely or obviously going to retrace once there is an imbalance, when there is a fair value gap. Now, these gaps are often seen as zones where price might return. Right, that is why you need to have at the back of your mind that price is going to retrace. Right, you need to have it at the back of your mind that price is going to retrace, because these particular gaps are seen as zones where price will return to fill the gap. Right now, traders expect that market will eventually revisit this level to create a balance. Once there is an imbalance, market tends to create a balance. Right, market tends to create a balance. I'll be showing you guys in this video how to spot these fair value gaps. Now, first of all, what you need to do is to identify three candles. Now, looking at this over here, we can spot this candle, the second candle, and the third candle. Now, looking at these candlesticks, and the picture I displayed above, now you would agree with me that our fair value gap is right at this level. It's right at this level. This is a fair value gap. All right, this is a fair value gap, and we as a trader, now remember that we said firstly that this is an imbalance. At first, it is an imbalance in the market, right? And secondly, we are expecting that price will retrace to do what? To create a balance, right? Remember that we say that these zones, we expect price as traders, we expect price to get back to these zones, right? To create a balance of it. To create a balance of it. Now, after that, the next thing is your trading strategy, because traders often use this fair value gap as potential areas for entry. Now, remember that you have to know your direction of the market first. And the direction of this market is towards the upside, right? As you can see, it is towards the upside in a 4-hour time frame, right? Because it is towards the upside, first of all, you have to know that, right? And you have identified a bullish fair value gap at first, which is an imbalance. You are expecting price to retrace to that level. You're not going to place any trade first. You have to wait for price to retrace to that particular level, guys. Then thirdly, like I said, most traders often use this fair value gap as potential areas for entry. If the price gap is dictated, now just as we have dictated this price gap, all we have to do is to wait for retracement into this area and look for signals to enter the market, right? Because price is definitely going to revisit, right? It's going to revisit the gap, and hopefully for price action to normalize and continue in the trend, right? Hopefully for price action to normalize and continue in the trend. Now, just as we have identified these areas, we are expecting price to retrace. Now, we're expecting price to retrace back to this level before we can enter the trade towards the upside, guys, right? Because this is a bullish word, a bullish fair value gap, right? I'm going to talk about other blocks in my next video. Now, below every fair value gap is your order block, right? If price doesn't respect the fair value gap, it is definitely going to respect the order block, except it turns out negative, it turns out invalid and becomes a breaker block, right? Now, let's look out for examples of these, fair value gaps, right, in our charts, in the mobile chart, right? This is for guys, for you guys that are using the mobile to trade, right? Using the mobile to trade. Now, looking at this, let's go down and look out for fair value gaps. Now, you can see at this level right here, you can see at this level over here, you can see a huge price difference, right, between this candle A, candle B, and candle C, right? All you need to do is to mark out that area, of price difference, right? Just as I did right here. Now, looking at this, you can see that price, after creating this huge difference, price pushed to the upside for a while, right? And after a few days or so, price came back into this to balance the imbalance, right? To balance the market, it came back and pushed up. Now, remember that we say that traders often use these fair value gaps as potential areas for entry, right? As potential areas for entry, you can see after the imbalance, right, guys, price pushed to the upside and then came to retest before it pushed. Now, after all of these things, you can see obviously from here also, you can see from this point as well, price came to tap into the fair value gap again before pushing to the upside, right? Before pushing to the upside. And now at this point, we can obviously find another fair value gap right here. You can obviously find another fair value gap, and looking at this as well, there is a fair value gap right around this point. Okay, you can see this first candle, you can see this candle 1, candle 2, and candle 3, right? There is a fair value word, a fair value gap, an FVG level at that region. Now we can as well mark that by using tapping on your screen, then clicking on this shape tool, right? Clicking on the shape tool over there, then you can click on this, on the rectangle tool. As soon as you click on it, it is activated. You can mark it out, right? You can mark it out. You can see how price came into this region. Price came into it, tapped on it, and pushed to the upside, creating this other fair value gap right here. within this other fair value gap, which is an imbalance right there. Now let's look at for other examples. Now you can see from this point, you can see let's go a bit down. Now you can see what happened over here. You can see a fair value gap right here. You can see a fair value gap right here. Now let's look at for other examples, guys. You can also drop to other time frames to look at for fair value gaps, guys. You can drop to other time frame like the 1 hour time frame to look out for fair value gaps, guys. All right, that is how to spot your fair value gap, right? Just as you can see over here, this is a perfect fair value gap, right? This is another perfect fair value gap over here. Sorry guys, it's another perfect fair value gap over here, guys. All right, and looking at this, we have another fair value gap. So as the market is moving, you would always identify fair value gaps. You would always identify fair value gaps. Now mind you, once you identify two fair value gaps in a particular area, what you need to do is to use your fib retracement tool to identify the one that is in the discount level, because for you to buy in an uptrend, you have to wait for price to obviously come into what? Into the discount level, right? Into the discount level before you can, execute a buy. So I'll share with you guys in my next video how to use the fib tool and identify your premium zone, your level of equilibrium, and your discount zone in a buy scenario, and also in a sell scenario, guys. All right, this is Merge FX once again, guys. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please click on the subscribe button. I beg of you guys, please click on the subscribe button. Peace out, guys.